What is up, guys? It's the JT Report here, back with my 2018 through 2019 NBA season preview. In this episode, we're going to be going over my number 27 ranked team, the Memphis Grizzlies. So last year really marked the end of an era for Memphis after they let go of Zach Randolph to go to the Kings. Zach Randolph had kind of been the focal point of that franchise, along with Marc, the grit and grind, and they really started to look like the 76ers last season. They were having a lot of D-League players coming, a lot of young players playing around some of the veterans. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they go forward with this year. But anyways, let's see what they did in the offseason. So, as you can see, the only real loss, which we should go ahead and talk about first, was Tyreke Evans. And Tyreke Evans really had a career rejuvenation last year. He became that dynamic scorer at small forward, and he kind of played the Ben Simmons type of role. He would take the ball up the court and pretty much control the offense from there. And, they had a chance of trading him at the deadline, and they refused to do so. And then he barely played any games afterwards. So I think this is going to be one of the biggest losses potentially in the Grizzlies franchise, because they could have gotten so much back for him and they just refused to do so. But first, looking at what they did in the draft, their big draft pick was Jaren Jackson Jr. and I really like this fit with the Grizzlies. He's a young guy. He has some outside potential as well as inside potential, but the best thing about him is his defense. And the Grizzlies are known for being that grit and grind team. And he's going to fit very well with that. And if he can polish his offensive game, which would mean, playing the low post and shooting as well, he could be a very great player to lead them into the post-Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol era. They also drafted Jevon Carter in the second round. But then they signed two players who I think will actually help them a lot. They signed Omri Caspi, he's an injury-prone forward, but he's a very good three-point shooter, and the Grizzlies need offense. One of their main problems, even when they were consistently making the playoffs, is where is their offense coming from? It was basically just Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, and then I think Tayshaun Prince and Tony Allen. That was like the height of their team, and they could barely do anything on the offensive side. So we'll see how this affects them, and then they signed Kyle Anderson, and from what I'm hearing, the Spurs are going to decline to match his offer, which that could be a steal for the Memphis Grizzlies because Kyle Anderson is a very efficient player, and he's also very young. So he's going to be another guy that can add to their young core that will lead them into the future. So now looking at their lineup, Mike Conley coming in at the point guard. My real question is I don't know how many more years Mike Conley can be effective. He's been very injury prone the last couple seasons, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. Then we have Andrew Harrison at shooting guard, Kyle Anderson at forward, the rookie Jaren Jackson at power forward, and Marc Gasol at center. Then off the bench, they don't have a great rotation, but Dillon Brooks actually was a bright spot for him. He was very good on the offensive end. He was decent on the defensive end, so I think he's definitely going to get minutes. And, of course, JaMychal Green, who was originally going to be the replacement for Zach Randolph. Didn't work out that well. He's still a decent player, though, than Mario Chalmers and Ben McLemore. It'll be interesting to see how much longer they go with Ben McLemore. I think he might be a potential wave candidate after the trading deadline this year, so keep out for that. But now my actual thing that I'm going to tell you guys to look out for is an improvement by Kyle Anderson, because he is one of the most efficient players in the league, but can he take that next step? We will see if he really was a product of the Spurs system. But if he wasn't, and he actually is a very talented player, this could be a steal for the Grizzlies. A future where Kyle Anderson, one of the most efficient players, he can score in a multitude of ways. That's going to be big for them, especially because I don't think Marc Gasol is going to be there much longer. I don't think they'll trade him. There's a lot of people who are under the impression that Marc Gasol is going to get traded. I really don't think so. So, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Andrew Harrison, people like that, they are really going to be the future of this franchise. And if Kyle Anderson works out well for them, it could be a big steal down the line. Anyways, guys, this has been my number 27 ranked team, the Memphis Grizzlies. Next time we'll be going over my number 26 ranked team. I'll see you then.